A project is purely a local initiative. It's purely a local initiative. It was just simply by a simple decision that we see what we see today here. For those who have lived in Samfya for some years, you will agree with me that this stretch of the beach has just been transformed in the past 7 years. Samfya was not known. What was known was the potential it has. For those who have been following Parliament, have been very consistent in ensuring that government puts more money into Samfya, so that number one, it creates business opportunities. Number two, it creates job opportunities. Number three, it is used as a springboard to reduce poverty among our people. And number four, to improve the economical status of the people that live in Samfya. But the historical perspective is this. In Samfya, I think, if I am not mistaken, Bangor constituency, if I am not mistaken, you can correct me, you are very free. I am a very approachable human being. When I make mistakes, I admit. Unless I am mistaken, since 1964, when we got independence, Bangor constituency, now I will say Samfya because we only have one constituency in Samfya. So I will say Samfya district, Bangor constituency, is the first constituency in this country to have a constituency integrated development plan for 10 years. This plan was launched here at Cheetah on 2nd February 2017. So it goes up to 2026. People are saying, but why do you have a program for 10 years? As if you know you are going to be here for 10 years. This is the problem that Africans have. The program should not die with an individual. It should go beyond. So we have this program for all of us to follow. So if you come to Samfya, there is no reinventing of the wheel. There are no personal agenda. We only have one agenda. To make Samfya the kind of a person that you want to see going forwards. To create employment, to create business opportunities, and to reduce poverty. Okay, so now, what made us come up with this program? In 2015, there was a report by World Bank and the Statistics Office in Zambia that Bangor constituency of Samfya district was at 92 poverty level by 92%. Okay? That means in every 100 people, 92 are what? Are extremely poor. Out of 10, 9.5 are poor. So where we are gathered here, if I throw 100 stones, they are likely to fall on 92 poor people. So now, we said to ourselves, this poverty needs to be dealt with the available resources that God has given us. So we identified this Samfya beach as number one economic sector that will help us reduce poverty and improve the living condition of our people. With the councillors who were there, I'm happy there are a few councillors who were there in 2016. May they kindly stand, including the chairperson and the deputy council chairperson. We were 9 by 10, but plus myself. We held 60 meetings around the constituency to look at the poverty levels, to ask our people what they needed to be done in the 5 years starting from 2016 to 2021. So we held a total of 60 meetings and we asked our people what they wanted us to do. From those 60 meetings, then I personally met the two lowernesses. Honorable Mwengi, I met him in Lusaka with a proposal. I met I met Chief Kasandwe also in Lusaka with a draft for their input. After they did their input, the draft was given to church leaders who also inputted. And then this document was finally given to civil servants to input. Without taking anything from the civil servants by that time, none of the civil servants inputted anything in this document. Because that's we're expecting that since they are technocrats, they all have us to put everything together. But to cut the long story short, we do have an integrated development plan in Samfya district. So everything you see today in tourism is in this book. I wish the former PS for Wakula was here, Mr. Nsemukira. The president, the former president was here on 2nd of February 2017. Then I cleverly, because I didn't have a chance to talk to him, you know, the security, despite being an MP, so I cleverly squeezed in this document. Then the PS by then said, I said it's an IDP that will guide this constituency and district to develop. So any ideas about business opportunities, investment in tourism, investment in agriculture, in any sector that would think of, it is in this document. And then when I circulated on social media, some of the human beings who have been wanting to be MPs in Samfya, they rubbished it that it's like a social studies a textbook. But this social studies textbook is the reason we are here today. Is the reason we are here today. We went further to develop a proposal, which we submitted to the ministry together with the council. And then that proposal failed to go through the Ministry of Tourism 3 times. But we kept on pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually it was accepted and it passed. Now, how did we make it sure that the money that is under the Tourism Development Fund begins to trickle down to places like Samfya? There was an act which was passed in Parliament, a law, that the monies that are mobilized from all tourism activities should be put in one fund called the Tourism Development Fund. And this fund should be in a special account. So when I became MP, this fund was not in the special account. It was going, the money collected from tourism activities was going to the known account, which account is known in government. Control 99. I personally moved a motion in Parliament to stop depositing this money into Control 99 so that it sits in a special purpose fund that was meant to develop tourism. Fortunately, in 2018, the monies that are generated from tourism now sits in that account independently. So much that anyone who would want to invest in tourism can go to the Ministry of Tourism and put a bankable proposal and access that fund. So from that fund, we applied for 8 million and we are given an initial of about, if I round off, it was a 3 million to begin with these projects. Okay? So that is the historical background I wanted to give to you, so that you realize and you appreciate. Then, what made it possible for now this place to begin to look the way it looks? I've met a lot of people who have claimed credit to say, if it was not for Cheetah, if it was not for JCCC, the beach would have not improved. There was one simple decision that changed the face of this beach. This is a simple third road. The road. Because all of us who have come today, we have followed the road. Because of the road, the place became a little bit attractive. There was value addition. Where did the money to make this third road, the bypass from this side, come from? Samfya was fortunate in 2013 to be allocated 21.7 kilometers of urban roads, which people refer to as township roads. From Marilangoma, from our entry point, it should have been 4 lanes or dual carriageway. We did make a decision after fighting with other stakeholders who told me that it is not necessary to take a part of the tarmac to the beach. So from Marilangoma, we should have 4 lanes or dual carriageway. Then we pushed for an evaluation so that instead of having a dual carriageway from Marilangoma to the CBD, we divert. So these roads we see is a diversion, but diversion you may be charged, yeah? It was a variation. So we varied. We said even if there are no people, there is no single structure, let us do the evaluation and do these roads. Immediately that was done. Then people began to think, oh, so these guys, the councillors by then, now MP, it was a councillors and myself pushing for this variation, and it came, and we have the road. So the road here is a game changer, and we are seated today, all of us, because there are people who pushed and so on and so on. Because many of the times people forget about the history of what might have taken place. So the road in itself changed the complexion, and everything just started falling in place. But why the road? People may ask, why the road? What the road did, it separated goats from the sheep. What do I mean? The road is a demarcation. On your right, if you go this side, is a public good. No one is allowed to do any structure without express permission by the council. If you have a plot on your left side, the beach is not yours. So, the implication is that the road demarcated and it is an offense to block the would-be encroachers. That was the idea. So the road separated the two. On the right is public good for all of us to enjoy, freely given by God. And those who are on your left, we even had a meeting, I think you remember, of the stakeholders to tell them that this frontage is for all the people of Samfya and all the Zambians. So, if it had not been for the road, I'm sure this time I'm talking, the beach would have been encroached. But now, since we preserved the beach, the council is taking advantage of that beach now to bring in the vending programs, so that we have a consolidated beach program. And this project we are launching today, it is supposed to be 10 kilometers, but we are only given money for about 4 kilometers. So the palm trees you see is part of the project. The clearing you see is part of the project. The information center you see is part of that project. So that's why I said I'm very happy today to witness one of the projects that we personally initiated. Okay, so now going forward, we would want to encourage especially local people to invest in these initiatives so that you also enjoy this gift that God has given us. So my reflection was simply to give you a picture of what has transpired, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank our 4 chiefs to have bought into this program. You remember it was not easy to move fishermen, yeah? Not too long ago, all these were fishing camps. And then through the Royal Highnesses, we came together with the council and agreed that let us take advantage of this gift by God to ensure that Zambia can benefit, also that by and large we can create employment, reduce poverty, and so on and so forth. So I am encouraging the local people. I've heard they are part of the sponsors, invest more, so that most of the resources remain where? In the Samfya. This project is non-political. No politics attached to it. It's for the people of Samfya, it's for the people of Zambia, it is not for politicians. It is for all of us. Okay, so PS, you have now a product. Now as I conclude, our intention is to make Samfya a tourism industrial base, specifically for lodging. It is central. For those who may not be aware, Samfya is surrounded by 6 or 5 constituencies or districts. So it is centrally located. Once the Kasandwe-Luwingu road is done, it will be an hour from the northern province into Samfya. Once the Kapalala-Milenge road is done, it is 140 kilometers from Misundu in Dola to here. So that is how we are trying to link Samfya. Okay? Once we do these linkages and so on and so forth, Samfya will be a place to be reckoned with. But I am just appealing now to the local businessmen, to the local people, to ensure that we support the would-be investors. PS and the listeners, I should end at this point, and I thank you.
Yes, what a rich